I remember when I lost my mind. It was when I came up with this idea, folks. So we live in the South, down here in Charlotte, and we're thinking traditional Southern breakfast. And what do you think about a traditional Southern breakfast? You definitely got your biscuits, and you got your gravy, and your sausage links, and your eggs, and your cheesy hash brown casserole, and your bacon. Well, we're gonna do a traditional Southern breakfast today, handheld edition. That's right, we're gonna put everything in one handheld, yummy, delicious piece. All right, so the first thing we're doing is we've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, we're gonna add, we're starting with our biscuit recipe, by the way. Then we're gonna put in half a tablespoon baking powder. And then we're gonna do a teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna do a tablespoon of sugar. That's not the sugar, that's the sugar. And for those of you that might be wondering why I have a huge bag of sugar, I tend to buy in bulk from those, big warehouse stores. And I like to keep, once I open up a thing of sugar in the fridge, to keep it fresher and keep bugs out. So that's why I have a huge bag of sugar. You may have noticed that in some of our other videos. All right, and then we're gonna put in 2 tablespoons of, this is a powdered butter flavor that you can pick up at any store. You could put real butter in your dough. This is a lower fat option, and it's gonna add delicious buttery flavor to the whole mixture. So I'm gonna go about 2 tablespoons, sprinkled in. And I'm just gonna mix this up with my hands here. Give it a stir, and then I'm gonna put in 3/4 of a cup of milk. Now, if you wanted buttermilk biscuits, you could use buttermilk. I'm not going with buttermilk today. I'm just gonna use regular milk. All right, we're gonna put in those 3/4 of a cup of milk. And this is going to be a wet dough. You want a very wet dough for this. And you're just going to mix it with your hands. All right, guys, so we ended up putting in another 1/2 cup of milk. So that is a total of 1 1/4 cup of milk. Sometimes with cooking, you need to make adjustments so that the texture is right. And this is the end result. We're gonna put this in the fridge to chill for a little bit while we get started on the next thing. All right, guys, next thing we're gonna do is we are going to shred 1 russet potato for our hash brown casserole that we're gonna make in the skillet. And you wanna do this into water, a bowl of water, because it removes the starch from the potato. And starch does not fry very well. So you're gonna shred a potato into water, and you're gonna keep rinsing the potato shreddings until your bowl of water is no longer cloudy. All right, guys, so we've got that 1 potato shredded nicely into this cold water. Now we're gonna take a medium-sized yellow onion, and we're gonna shred half of this into the same mixture. All right, guys, so now we're going to strain our shredded potatoes and onions through a colander in the sink here. And then we're going to run cold water over it to get more starch off. And you want to squeeze out the water while you're doing this. And you're also stirring your shredded onions and your shredded potatoes together, so when they go in the pan, they're going to be nicely blended together. Alright guys, so I am squeezing out as much moisture as I can because you want to have dry potatoes or they're not going to fry very well. And we're going to put them over here on a clean kitchen towel to help dry them. Alright guys, so we've got our shredded potatoes and shredded onion out on a clean dish towel. I'm going to take a second clean dish towel and cover it up. This is helping to dry. You want to get as much moisture out of this as you can because you want them to fry up nice and crispy, and the water prevents the crispiness. So the drier you get it, the crispier your hash brown casserole is going to be. Alright guys, so while our hash browns are drying, we are going to start the candied bacon. We've got our baking sheet covered in foil, and we're cooking on top of a cooling rack. And all we're going to do is just sprinkle brown sugar over the top of our bacon. Alright guys, so you can see we've got our bacon nice and coated in brown sugar. We're going in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes. Alright guys, so we're heating up our pan. You want it to be nice and hot, and we're putting in some delicious avocado oil. We're getting ready to make those hash browns. And we want to put in some butter too, because everything tastes better with butter.
Famous last words.
Now we're going to take our hash brown onion creation here, shredded onions and potato, into that pan after it's dried here. You roll them?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting the shredded potato and the shredded onion into the pan. And again, you want to put it in on a hot skillet so it sears the potato and the onion. And that is actually looking really good. It's about the size we want for our concoction that we are making. Alright guys, and we're going to put in a little 4-cheese Mexican blend in our hash brown casserole. You can use whatever cheese flavors you like. I like a nice blended cheese. And Kaylee, you think that looks good or a little bit more?
More.
I knew you were going to say that, girl. All right. Now, you also want to get more butter around the edges. Not only does it help with flipping, but it also helps those onions get caramelized. So you just want to drop some butter, little thin slices along the edges. Alright guys, so our hash brown casserole has been cooking for a few minutes. What we're going to do now is we are going to take the plate and put over the top and flip it. This is a great way to flip. Oops, nice and easy. And then what you do is you're going to slide it right back into your pan after you put some more oil and butter in it.
Not too much oil. That looks good.
And putting it on the plate made it super easy.
Use a spatula.
Just to slide it right back in. Well, that didn't slide back in very well at all. Kaylee called it. She told me so.
Told you so.
But alright guys, so we are now going to crack a couple of eggs on top of this bad boy, and we're going to bake them in the oven. You want to crack them gently on it. Try and get 4 on it. Gotta get that shell out. Don't roll on the shell. Okay, thanks, Kay. Appreciate the assist. All right, you rolling?
I've been rolling.
All right, so we've got our 4 eggs on top. It's going in the oven at 400 for 10 minutes. And all right, guys, so next we're going to go with some delicious traditional pork sausage links in the skillet. We've got some avocado oil underneath. We're just going to do 6, and that's probably going to be too many, but we're just going to cook them in the skillet, nice and simple. All right, guys, so those sausage links are cooked up nice. In the same skillet, we're now going to take half a pound of sausage. You could use spicy, you could use mild. We're just using the traditional mild, not spicy, because Kaylee does not like the spice. This is for our sausage gravy that we're making. You guys have seen me make this before in our Detroit-style breakfast pizza. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to brown the sausage. All right, guys, so we've got our hash brown casserole out, and we're just going to sprinkle on just a little bit of cayenne pepper on top of those eggs, just a little bit for some flavor. All right, so now we're just going to sprinkle some flour on top of that sausage here, and we're going to let that kind of absorb a little before we put in some milk to make our sausage and make our gravy, sausage gravy. All right, guys, so I've added in the milk, and you know me, pepper always is a must when you're making a southern sausage gravy. But I'm not putting in too much because we got the cayenne pepper in the casserole. And we're just going to let this thicken up. All right, guys, so we've got our dough that we made out on a pre-floured cutting board. And what you want to do is you want to shape this into a rectangle to the best of your ability. And you're going to fold it and then cut and stack and mash and then fold it again. This is what creates the layers. And mash and cut and mash and keep repeating this process about 4 times. So this is number 3 for me. All right, guys, so what I'm doing is after we did our fold and stack and fold and stack and fold and stack to make those nice layers, I'm smooshing it out nice and flat because we're going to cook this on the waffle maker, which is round. So I am just trying to make a shape that I think is about the right size of our waffle maker. Now, we're going to come over here, grab some spray. We've got it preheated on a 3. And that's actually a pretty good size. So we're going to let this cook on here for about 4 minutes. All right, guys, so here's our biscuit from the waffle. We made 2 of these, one for the bottom base, and then there's a second one for the top base. First thing we're going to do is we are going to put that delicious hash brown casserole on top.
There you go.
Remember when I said at the beginning I lost my mind? Clearly, I have lost my mind with this. This is going to be insanity. Now we're putting those delicious sausage links on. Or we're trying to. I have no idea how to make this look good. I'm not a professional chef. Something like that, Kay? Does that work?
Sure.
All right, now we're going to put some of that delicious gravy on top of that. I hear you asking for extra, Kaylee. Kaylee loves my gravy, y'all. If you haven't made it at home,
You're missing out.
You should definitely try this. It's delicious. Actually, let's put a little bit on the side over here instead. He's not going to stay. Get over there, gravy. And you can make gravy thick or thin. I prefer a little thicker gravy for the baking because it tends to stay in place better than a super runny. Next, remember that bacon? There's our other top. Let's get.
I can hold that.
Thanks, Kate. That delicious sweet bacon. Oopsie. I have lost my mind, everybody, because this is pure insanity right here. Probably about 2,000 calories.
Easily.
I'm not counting. You don't want to eat this. You know how I usually say, hey guys, I'm cooking for me and Kaylee and double the recipe? Nah, we're going to cut this. It's going to be like, this would be 4 people. We're going to have leftovers. Okay. So, just trying to place to wedge in a little bit more bacon. Okay. And the top piece. Where's the top piece? Top piece. And that's a biscuit, y'all. What have I done? I am crazy. I do not recommend making this every day.
You will die.
We're going to try and cut this bad boy, see what happens.
It's all falling apart.
It's all falling apart.
I'm just going to put mine in a bowl and call it a day.
All right, guys. So, sometimes we have, cooking's an adventure. And on this one, we're definitely having an adventure here.
I found my reward.
All right, finally made it all the way through. So, you know how I said it was going to be handheld edition? Well, handheld, sure. I'm going to have a bite, right? Because I always have a tasty bite. Y'all, look in the middle. There you go. Traditional Southern breakfast, handheld edition.
Heart attack in a sandwich.
It's really good. Biscuits are a little crispy. Not going to lie, first time I ever tried doing this. So I probably won't make that again. But everything else is delicious. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope we've had some laughs. And we'll see you next time.